Hey everyone, this is a guitar tutorial for Miracle Power by We the Kingdom. Before we begin, please consider subscribing to my channel or give this video a like and comment below on what else you want to see in the future. In addition, if you're interested in any of the gear that you see today, there are links in the description below. Alright, grab your acoustic guitar and a capo and let's get started. Alright, so you'll notice my capo is on the first fret. We're going to be playing in the key of E to match the original key, which is F. So here are the chords you need to know. E, A, D, B, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, and E7. So let's talk about the chords a little bit more in depth, and before going forward, just understand that the chords that I'm going to use through this song are based on the Worship Together chart that you can find for free online. I'm tweaking it just a little bit because I feel some of the chords are unnecessary, or they're kind of written in a way that is more for your bass player or keyboard player. So for example, there is an E over D. Well, that's really just an E7. But if you're playing in a root position, E, G sharp, B, D, that would be E7. The D would actually be in the bass, so it would be D, E, G sharp, B. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. But to play that, instead of playing E over D, we just play E7. So let's start with that. That's probably the easiest one. Put your index finger on the first fret, G string, then put your middle finger on the A string, second fret, and you get to strum everything. And to make it a regular E chord, which is also in the intro, by the way, put your ring finger down on the D string. Now it's not open anymore, it's pressed down on the second fret. Here's the full E. D is pretty simple. Put your index finger on the G string, second fret, middle finger, second fret also, but high E string, and then ring finger on the B string, third fret, but you're going to avoid strumming the low E and A strings. This is D. For A, you can play it one of two ways, but I'm going to play it both ways through the song because there are some parts where the chord changes are so fast, it's beneficial to use the barred version. So let's start with that. That's pretty easy. Put your index finger on the second fret and bar the D, G, and B strings, and you're going to avoid strumming the high E because it's going to be blunted by that index finger. Now, if you don't like that, you can use the traditional method. Put your index, middle, and ring fingers on the D, G, and B strings, squeezed into the second fret. A little fuller sound, and now the high E is ringing out. But again, like I said, there are some parts of the song where the chord changes are so fast, it's probably better to use the barred version, and we'll talk about that as we keep going in the tutorial. For F sharp minor, I'm going to use the Reliant K version from Be My Escape. You're going to put your index finger on the G string, second fret, then your ring finger and pinky go on the fourth fret, covering the A and D strings, and don't strum the low E string for this. This is F sharp minor. The B chord is pretty close to this. You're going to bump your index finger down to the A string, second fret, and now your ring finger and your pinky will go on the D and G strings of the fourth fret. And again, you're going to avoid strumming the low E. This is B. Keep that same shape and slide it up 2 frets. You have yourself a C sharp minor. And that about does it for chords. Now there is an E over G sharp. Now you don't have to play E over G sharp. You're just going to play a regular E chord. And I find that it works perfectly if you're just playing acoustic. And of course, if you have a full band and a bass player, the bass player can play G sharp. All right, so stick around. We're going to play through the song. I'll put the chords on screen for you, and I'll say them as we go along, and I'll dive into 2 different parts the acoustic has definitively in the song, as well as some strumming patterns. All right, here we go. D, A, E, D, A, E, 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 D, A, E, D, A, E, D, A, E, A, E over G sharp, A, D, A, E, D, A, E, A, E, A, E, A, E, A, E, D, A, E, D, A, E, D, A, E, D, A, E over G sharp, A, D, A, E, D, A, E, D, A, E, E suspended, E, C sharp minor, B, E over D, A, 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 D, E, D, A, E, stepping up now, D, A, E, D, A, E over G sharp, A, D, A, E, D, A, E, D, A, E. Well, everyone, I hope that I was able to help you out with that tutorial. So let's talk about some strumming patterns. And actually, before we even get to that, let's talk about the two distinctive parts that I believe the acoustic guitar player is playing definitively in the song. And I think that would be Ed Cash himself. So let's talk about right in between verse 2. I guess after the first line of verse 2 is sung, there's a small break and a really cool acoustic guitar line. Pretty simple, but when you look at it and when you hear it, it's like, ooh, that's kind of cool. So let's talk about what notes I'm actually playing. I'm playing a hammer-on to C sharp, G sharp, and then E. So, and of course that's relative to the capo. Playing it kind of slowly. So I'm hammering on the B string, 2nd fret, but also playing the bottom E string, letting go, and you can pick it back if you want. Then 1st fret G, 2nd fret D. Really slow. 1 and then in rhythm and beat. Again, that's a really cool line. If you can't do it, that's okay, but that's right before the break ends and then everybody's back in. And that would be in verse 2. The other part is actually doubling the electric guitar part, and if you don't have an electric guitarist, you have to do this line. I believe the keyboard is doing this too, and this happens right after the first chorus. All right, so let's break it down. We have D, A, and E, and I'm doing a little bit of variation on each chord when I'm playing it, except for D. So for D, I'm going to emphasize the B string that I'm playing when I'm playing that chord and not really worrying about the high E string. Now I go to A, and I'm playing an A suspended with my pinky, which would be the next step. Then letting go on my ring finger to let that B string ring out openly. And then I'm going to hammer on the index finger when I play the E chord. All that in sequence and a little slower. When I heard that, I'm like, I have to play that. And for me, as a music teacher, I went straight to the piano and started doing it. I probably played it for 5 or 6 minutes straight. I don't know why. It just sounds like a really cool riff. Doing that now with regular tempo. And of course, you don't have to do what I did, which is just down strumming the whole time. Speaking of which, let's talk about some strumming patterns. When you finally get to the chorus after verse 2, this is what I'm using. And you might have noticed in the tutorial I was doing that hammer on with the index finger once in a while, just to add some spice. So without chords, starting with 2 down strums really, down, 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 down. That's the pattern I'm using for the chorus. And when I'm starting the song for the intro, notice that I didn't play at all, but I started once verse 1 kicked in. And this is what I was doing, kind of like a palm mute. A, E, same pattern as before, just palm muting. One more time for my sake. Down, 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 down. It's a pretty typical strumming pattern, but it's really cool and it really gels with the song and the rhythm section. So again, guys, hopefully I was able to help you out with that tutorial. If I did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, comment below on what else you want to see in the future. And I hope to be making more videos now that it's summertime. And I hope that you have a great summer if I don't see you. So take care and God bless.